Welcome to Mastering Monday. I'm Monique Williams, the Partnership Coordinator for the Daniel Center of Leadership. Mastering Monday is created to help you add purpose to your work so that you can experience God's best for your life. With that being said, let's get into this content.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Mastering Monday. I'm your host, Alan Williams Jr. Listen, I'm pumped up to be on another episode of Mastering Monday with you. So you already know. Listen, guys, we've been rocking together with Mastering Monday for a while now. So if you know some value is about to come, if you know this is about to be a game-changing, 15, 20 minutes that we're about to spend together, go ahead and share it out to your network, right? And even take it a step further. Those 2 to 3 people that you connect with, that you bounce ideas off with, you strategize with, you even pray for. Listen, they need to hear this message. So get this message out to them right now. Listen, go ahead, take a moment, share it out. Tap that share button, or just go in and just name drop them. Put their name in the comment. And say, hey, listen, Mastering Monday is on right now. Guys, I'm excited about today. And whether you're watching this on Monday, you guys know how we do. You can be watching it on Monday. You could be watching it, Wednesday or Friday or whenever, this broadcast airs. But I'm excited that you are here for this type of content. That's right. Because if you're here, if you're watching Mastering Monday, you made it through the introduction, that tells me that there's something on the inside of you that wants to grow. Yeah, there's something on the inside of you that's ready for the next level, and not only ready for it, but believes that you can become the person to obtain victory in that next level. Guys, you see it behind me. You see it, right? Today, we're talking about the mentality of mastery. That's right. We talked about mastery. We talked about the off season. We talked about how we can make the concept of work more meaningful. Today, we're opening up. We're revealing what is going to be a several week series on the mentality of mastery. And I'm going to have some guests on, and guys, it's going to get really, really good. I know you see the setting kind of changed. You used to me kind of standing up, coming through your screen, right? But we're kind of setting the tone for the mentality of mastery. And guys, this is going to be an amazing time together. And amazing, you've been rocking with me for a while. So when I say amazing, I don't only mean fun. I don't only mean those tweetable moments, but I mean some really, really, really challenging conversations, right? Some really sobering thoughts, right? That's what we're about to go into with the mentality of mastery. But you guys know, while we're here on the Daniel Center of Leadership, Mastering Mondays, we play 0 games. We play 0 games. So guys, we're all in. So today I want to start off with a topic kicking off the mentality of mastery. And that topic is perseverance. Oh, somebody dropped that in the comments right there. Listen, perseverance. Listen, we can't talk success. We can't talk goals. We can't talk execution and strategy without addressing this particular area. So I want to spend our time today, whether you're watching me in the morning or you're watching me in the afternoon or you're watching me even on Saturday Night Live, and when we replay this, I want to dive in to the necessity of perseverance. That's right. Because I don't hear much about that. Maybe you do. Maybe your Instagram, maybe your Facebook is different than mine. But I don't really see too much conversation going on around perseverance. I don't really hear too many conversations going on around the necessity to be resilient, the necessity to be strong and steadfast, the necessity to accept rejection. I don't see that. I'm pausing just so you can identify whether you see it or not. So guys, perseverance is oftentimes a lonely road, right? Yeah, perseverance is oftentimes a lonely road. Think about your own situation, right? Whenever you're going, you're in your career, you're going through your business, you're working on things with your family, etc. Whenever you hit those high moments, you get accomplishments. Listen, that's not lonely, right? People want to jump in on that. People want, hey man, why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't you let me know you were doing X, Y, Z? Hey man, congratulations on the promotion. Congratulations on, whatever the goal is that you've reached, right? That's not lonely. Accomplishment is oftentimes crowded, right? But what about those times of adversity? What about those times that you go through things and it's hard to explain? Those times that you go through things and not only is it hard to explain, but you don't even really want to admit it to yourself. Come on. I mean, I know we're only a couple minutes in. I know we're only a few minutes into Mastering Monday, but can we get real? Those moments that you can't even articulate to yourself. Those moments that are challenging and uncomfortable, and they bring disappointment. What happens there? See, that's why we want to start this conversation off around the necessity of perseverance. Because I believe there's some people out there. I believe you're watching me right now, no matter where you're watching me from. Hopefully you drop your city and your state in there because I want to know. But no matter where you're watching me from, no matter what your time zone, what your career, what your ethnic grouping is, no matter what it is, we all go through adversity. And I believe that there's some game changers out there. I believe that you're destined to do something that will leave a mark on the world, let alone your community, your company, your region, your state. But I believe that there's something on the inside of you that can transform how people work and act and think and interact. But without perseverance, I'm sad to say that we won't see that. We won't see the fruit of that. We won't see the fullness of that if we don't really grasp this necessity of perseverance. I can't go into perseverance without sharing a story of my own, right? So I remember, my career is in banking. I remember being in banking, and I remember, setting these high goals, having these high goals from the jump, and we were going through a particular season at the bank where we were interchanging managers, right? There were some managers that were getting promoted. There were some managers that were moving away. There were some managers that chose another career or maybe another institution to work with. And as we were going through that process, then there began to be, several opportunities that I was interested in and that I had spoken to upper level management about, engaging in. And so when that time came, I just knew it was my time, right? Have you guys ever been in a situation like that, right? Where I, everything lined up, right? I've been working, I've been grinding, I've been getting it, and I have some results to kind of prove that. And now the opportunities are coming in. Everything is just lining up just right. That's where I was. So what did I do? I did what anybody would do. I applied for the job, right? Applied for the job. Went in. Hey, talked to several managers who were connected to that hiring team and said, hey, over the next, 2 weeks before the interview, I want to get with you guys and kind of work through and see what would be the best route of, preparation for me. So I did that, that was going smoothly. I talked to my own, mentor, who is our founder here at the Daniel Center. We were early on in our mentee mentor relationship, probably about a year in or heading to a year. And, we had just been through some aggressive learning and development, that I did outside of the bank. I'm gonna say that one more time. I did learning and development outside of the bank. and so guys, because listen, if you're going to master something, come on. I know you haven't forgot. I know we talked about mastery. Listen, if you're going to master something, there's no way you can do that without repetition. There's no way you can do that without overtime. Right? And so I was getting my overtime in, I was working on L&D, learning and development in the bank. And then I was working on L&D outside of the bank after hours, that I was personally investing in. And so, those couple weeks pass by, I go to the interview, right? Go to the interview and I'm actually catching a rhythm. Like the interview was probably about 15 questions long. I get, from question 1 to question 11, I'm nailing it. I'm doing really, really, pretty good. And so around question 11, I'll never forget, question 11, I lost momentum. I felt it slipping at 10, right? You ever been in that situation? It's like, oh man, I gotta get my bearings together. And I felt it slipping, but questioning 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. I mean, I just like, I understood that what I was preparing for, what I was interviewing for was out of my league, right? Like my competency got me so far, right? My prior ability got me from question 1 to question 10. But there was that final section in this interview, and I really realized, man, I'm missing something. Man, there's a gap. And so what did I do? I did the same thing you would try to do, right? I try to put on my performance hat. I tried to answer them to the best of my ability. It was clearly evident, within myself and within the interviewing staff that, I slipped. And so needless to say, got finished with that. I was heading back home. I had about a 40-minute drive back home. I'm headed back home. I'm thinking through. I'm like, man, I had such a good rhythm. And, as I'm kind of processing that, I get a phone call. I get a phone call from the hiring manager that I just left, 15 minutes ago. And in that call, we're having this conversation, we're having this exchange, and they're like, hey, I want to go over this interview. And I'm like, typically in the bank, you don't do that. Like typically they finish the set of interviews, they reach out to you a week and a half later, and they tell you what the decision is. So this particular hiring manager said, hey, I want to talk through this interview. And are you in a position to do that? I said, yes, in a position to do that. So we did that. They said, hey, saw you, you had a rhythm, you were doing really good, and then you just lost it. Can you say more about that? Okay, I'm just getting out of the interview, right? I'm just getting out of the interview and I'm beating myself up. And the manager said, hey, tell me what just happened 15 minutes ago. Emotionally, I'm trying to process that. So I muscle my way through that. We just kind of talk, we have dialogue. So that's over, man. By the time I pull up in my yard, about 25 minutes later, I'm like, man, this was a day. This was, such high anticipation over the last several weeks, high preparation, made it to the interview. Really disappointed in my own performance, really disappointed in the outcome. I got the call from the manager on my way home, basically telling me, hey, you didn't get this job and you didn't perform well consistently. So as I'm making it into the house, I get a text message. And in that text message, it says, hey, it was my mentor. Hey, how did it go? So I'm texting, hey, followed up with the hiring manager, et cetera, right? He tells me, call me ASAP. I call. If I'm honest, I'm looking for some degree of pity, right? Because he knows how hard I worked, right? I'm looking for some degree of pity. Didn't happen at all. So basically, in a nutshell, I had to go through that interview process again. This is the third time. First time with myself, second time with the hiring manager, third time with my mentor. All this happening within 6 hours. I'm going through that. I make it to the end. I explain to him everything. He asks me, what is an area that you can go in and perform 10 times better in tomorrow? What are the areas that you're going to dominate in? Hold on. Wait a minute. Pause. Rewind. I can't even think about dominating. I'm barely thinking about existing. Right? And now you're talking about what are 3 areas I can go in and dominate. Did you just hear what I said? I just bombed the interview. I'm emotionally drained. I can't do this. He didn't care. Which is a whole other conversation, by the way. Because if we're talking mentorship, if we're talking serving, if we're talking growing, you need to be under somebody who can see further and who can see stronger than you. But that's a whole other conversation. So back to your regularly scheduled program. But guys, he could see stronger. I was weak at the time. He could see further. My vision was limited at the time because I'm battling emotions. That's when I understood. When I went back to work that next morning and I had to report to him, hey, sir, here are the 3 areas that fall in line with the objectives of my current role and in preparation for my next role? Challenging, yes. Did he want to hear that or did he care? No. So I sent in the areas. When I sent in the areas, he said, okay, I need a summary every week on what you did to outwork and outperform your peers in those areas. Guys, I remember it like it was yesterday. And that's when I understood that perseverance wasn't just something that was happenstance that you just pulled out when needed. No, perseverance was a necessity. And today on Mastering Monday, I want to introduce that concept. And when we think about the scriptures, there's so many different parts of the scripture that we can pull out to talk about this whole idea of perseverance. But we're going to pick back up on it next week. But I do want to go into this part here, and it comes from Exodus 14 and 13. And it says, do not be afraid, stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. I'm here to tell somebody today on Mastering Monday, you got to be still. You got to be still. And I'm not talking about be still in your performance. I'm not talking about be still in your growth, in your learning and development. I'm talking about you got to be still in your mind. See, we're talking about the mentality of mastery. See, oftentimes when we get information that we don't feel is favorable, what do? We go off the deep end, right? We rush to negativity. We rush to those thoughts that aren't producing, productivity and growth, right? We go to thoughts that are detrimental. But I'm here to tell somebody today, you have to be still in that. You have to sit in that. You have to get to a place where you're like, no, I'm going to own this emotion and I'm still going to persevere. See, in this particular scripture in Exodus, see, the Israelites were going through a very emotional, challenging phase. I mean, the Egyptians were literally chasing them. They were between the desert and the sea, right? And they looked into Moses and they said, why did you lead us to this? Weren't there enough graves already? Did we have to go through this? See, immediately they adopted a survival mentality instead of focusing on the miraculous salvation and the miraculous deliverance that the Lord had just brought to them. See, oftentimes, just like in my story that I shared with you, me personally, me and my own flesh, I wanted to sit on the sideline and lick my wounds. I'm like, man, I prepared for this. Man, I've invested in this. Man, I've been growing. I've been working. And now I get this unfavorable information, not knowing that this was really developing me to become the person that I was going to be, that I needed to be when I got that promotion. And later I went on to get that promotion. And if the person that I was before would have been in that position, I would have failed. I would have dropped the ball. I mean, they would have steamrolled over me. And what my final word is to you today, and I promise I'm coming back next week. I promise we're going to finish hashing this out next week. But I want to leave you with this. If you're going to master your craft, if you're going to master your profession, if you're going to master your off season, if you're really going to make your Monday morning experience, your work experience more meaningful, what are those areas that you got to add perseverance to? What are those areas that you need to pick yourself up from the sidelines and say, man, let me get back in this game? Because if I'm going to reach these goals, I don't have time for pity. I don't have time for sorrow. I don't have time, like the Israelites, to focus on the negative. No, when I go through unfavorable situations, I know a favorable God. Come on, somebody that's following me. I know a favorable God that far outweighs this current situation. So guys, I'm Alan Williams Jr. I've enjoyed you today. Make sure if you're not following us in the Daniel Center Facebook group, go over and follow us. Listen, this message and this conversation, it needs to continue, right? So again, share this video out. Meet me back here, same time next Monday on Mastering Monday.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? No matter where you are across the world, we are excited to have the opportunity to engage with you at the Daniel Center of Leadership. We host all of our streaming events all over the world, right here from the streaming suites in Rock Hill, South Carolina, owned by the Benjamin Agency. So listen, we want you to follow us on every social channel that you can find us. Yes, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and even our Facebook group. You can engage with Alan, Monique, myself, and Omika, and our extended team of board members and volunteers who help us spread this message of leadership and personal growth from a faith-based perspective all over the world. And we are privileged that you're a part of our digital and virtual family. And so when we have our live events, come on, I want you to jump on a plane, train, or automobile and get to Charlotte, North Carolina, and come hang out with us at the Daniel Center as we network at an uncommon level, but receive insight at a much greater level for the glory of God. Look forward to hanging out with you as we master our Mondays.